Hey everybody. Today I went down my local fish store and I picked up some plants, and we're going to make a little more progress on my 40 today. Now, my go-to person for the plants was not there. I was kind of winging it. I really should have called before I went down, but it wouldn't have made any difference anyway. Today was the day this week I was going to have a chance to get down there. So I went, she was not there. So I did my best with what I could see by, basically labels and that sort of thing. And I picked up a few things, and I want to share with you a little bit of my process of how I decorate a plant. What did I get? That's some Hygrophila compact right there. This is some narrow leaf microsword. That is broadleaf temple plant that I had from another tank, and so is this floating up here. And then this down here is some cardinal plant. I believe that's a lobelia. So I just kind of picked those plants. I like them. They're different. The one thing I will say that I'm going to do with this tank is I'm going to make it look different. If you're familiar with my tanks, you know that they all have a very similar, I could even go so far as to say almost a signature look to them. I have pretty much the same types of rocks. I have the same patterns of caves. I have the same proportion of rock to woodwork, etc., etc. My tanks are very similar looking in style and feel. So this one's going to be a little bit different. I want to do something a little unusual for me. Not going to be too far away from what you're used to with me. My water chemistry is not going to be any different. I'm still going to use my water and that sort of thing. But I'm definitely going to set it up a little bit differently. I don't think I'm going to do any rocks or caves. I do have a rock in the far right corner, if you will notice, and that is only there in case the suction cups on the UV sterilizing filter I have in the corner fail and it starts to slide and work its way towards the bottom. The water pickup goes all the way to the bottom, and if it gets down anywhere near that sand, it will be the end of that filter for me. So that rock is there just to add a little bit of texture, a little bit of stark contrast, and it also serves the actual purpose of keeping that filter up off the bottom should it slide down. So that is there for a reason. Other than that, I think I'm going to go very, very sparse on the rocks, if I do any at all. And I may not even do any wood in this tank. I'm really not sure yet. I think I'm going to have this a nice tank full of structure and places to hide and things to make the fish feel secure, but I think it's going to be all made out of living plants in this tank rather than any kind of real hardscape. But we'll see. I don't really know yet, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. This is sort of my process. I picked these plants because I liked them. They look like they would meet the needs of my tank conditions would meet their needs. And this is much the way I do my garden. My wife and I will go to our garden center and we'll pick up plants that we like and that are pretty and that can deal with our soil and they can deal with our sunshine. And then we come home and then we stand there and scratch our heads and go, okay, now where are we going to put them? What are we going to do with them? Would they look good over here? Should we try them over there? So, for those of you that think I've got some grand scheme and I've been plotting and planning some tank, and I've been dropping hints and stuff, I'm really not. I've got that stuff sitting in there just for inspiration, and I really, at this point, still don't know what this tank is going to look like. I know what fish are going in there for the most part. I do have my 3 key fish that are going to be my feature fish in this tank, and the tank's going to sort of revolve around them. But other than that, that's about as far as I've gotten. And if you're patient and you wait till the end of this video, or maybe if you skip ahead, don't know how long this video is actually going to be at this point, but I do plan on, by the end of the day, having these plants in. At least that'll be a start. I'm going to add a lot more plants than this, obviously. But I do plan on having my new fish in here at the end of this video, hopefully. So it'll be the big reveal on my big secret new fish. You're going to love them. They are awesome, and I cannot wait to see them on that black substrate. So sit tight, let me keep going on this, and we will see how this video progresses and whether or not we get any video of the actual progress, or we just go right to the end and you get to see what I've done with it. Alright everybody, there you go. And those are 2 of the 3 purple spotted gudgeons that I've got. They are absolutely fantastic. There's a bunch of detritus on the back of the tank there. This is the day after I started this video, and I'm still kind of dialing in how to feed them in this tank. So a lot of the food that I put in there a few minutes ago sort of made its way to the bottom, and they're not really sure about what to do with it once it gets on the bottom. So again, there's a little bit of a learning curve here with these guys. The tank has a long way to go. This is not how it's going to look in the long run, but it's started and we're on the way. I really just wanted to show off these gudgeons. I am so excited about them. I really wanted to get some video out there of them. This pothos plant that you see is temporary. That is just there to provide some structure and some cover for these guys. But again, I'm just super excited about them. They're really outgoing. They're not shy or timid in any way. They come right up to the surface when I feed them. So in the future, we're going to get some really good feeding videos and a lot more to come. They supposedly will get up to 7 inches in the wild, but seldom get over 5.5 to maybe 6 in aquaria. So these guys are maybe about 3 right now, and if they doubled in size, to me, that would just be amazing. So having 3 of them in here this size would be awesome. So this is going to be my Australian tank. This is the new theme. I'm not really going to do any rocks or caves. Like I said, if these guys turn out to really need some cave structure, then we will accommodate them. But I don't think I'm going to. I think they'll only need cave structure if they're breeding, and I have no intention of worrying about that. Now, I do have 3 of them in here, so who knows? We'll have to wait and see how that works out. Now that they're in a tank that's, you know, large enough size for them to really establish territories, things may become different. They were in a 10-gallon quarantine tank before. So we'll have to wait and see. So this is definitely going to be a new experience for me. As I said, the water chemistry is going to be the same. I'm not really messing with anything like that, but I am going to do a very different style tank, a very different feel, and as I said, this is going to be my Australian tank, and we're going to do a nice little school of rainbowfish in there. I might actually do 2 separate schools of rainbowfish, and then we're going to think about what to do on the bottom. I'm not married to any kind of true biotope. As far as I can tell, the smallest catfish that I could find that would be Australian would be the eel tail, which would still be way too large for this tank. It would still, you know, top out at about 2 feet. So it doesn't look like I'm really going to get an Australian bottom dweller, but at the same time, these guys look like pretty good bottom dwellers. They do not, however, seem to be very good bottom cleaners. So I'm still going to need to get something in there on the bottom. We might do some kind of a banjo cat or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Again, this tank still really doesn't have any definitive end in my mind. We're just kind of putting it together as we go along. And they're all sort of revolving around these fish. These are kind of a spur of the moment. I just went to a fish store that I don't normally go to, and they had 3 of these in a tank. And after about an hour of haggling, I wound up getting what I think was a pretty good price on them. And I just had to bring them home because they're amazing looking fish. I've seen these before on different websites and videos, and I've always wanted some. So now I have 3 purple spotted gudgeons. So there you go, everybody. That's the first look at my new fish. That is the first look at my new Australian tanks. There will be a new playlist on my channel. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do so. That way you won't miss any progress as this tank fills in and develops. It's going to be a lot of fun. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you real soon on the next one.